In the year 2000, Netflix wasn't worth much. It had no original shows, no streaming, just DVDs mailed to your door. Its CEO flew to Dallas with a simple offer. He wanted to sell his entire company for $50 million. The man he was meeting with ran the most powerful entertainment rental company on earth. 9,000 stores, 60,000 employees, and $6 billion in annual revenue. He listened to the offer and then he laughed. Today, that $50 million company is worth of $280 billion, and the man who laughed, his company doesn't exist anymore. This is the most expensive laugh in the business history. This is the story of Blockbuster, how the most powerful entertainment rental company on earth doesn't exist anymore. To understand how badly Blockbuster failed, you first need to understand how great they were. In the 1990s, Blockbuster was America. Friday nights across the United States followed the same pattern. Families would pile into the car, drive to their local Blockbuster, spend 20 minutes arguing about what to watch, grab some overpriced popcorn, and head home. It was a ritual, a cultural institution. At its peak in 2004, Blockbuster had over 9,000 stores across the world, 60,000 employees, annual revenue of $6 billion. They were valued at $8.4 billion. The CEO at the time, John Antioco, was celebrated as a retail genius. He had turned Blockbuster from a struggling chain into a global empire. Every analyst on Wall Street loved the stock. Nobody saw what was coming. Nobody except a small startup in California with a weird idea about mailing DVDs is going to beat Blockbuster. In 1997, a software engineer named Reed Hastings returned a VHS tape late. The late fee was $40. He was embarrassed, frustrated, and then curious. Why was the rental business built around punishing customers? He co-founded Netflix in 1998 with a simple concept: no late fees, DVDs mailed directly to your door, a monthly subscription. The first year was rough. They had almost no subscribers and were burning through money. But something interesting was happening. The people who did subscribe loved it. No late fees meant no anxiety, no driving, no arguing in the store. Just movies delivered to your door whenever you wanted. By 2000, Netflix had 300k subscribers and was growing fast, but they were also losing money. And Reed Hastings knew that without more capital, they might not survive. So he decided to call the one company that could save them or destroy them. In September 2000, Reed Hastings and his co-founder Mark Randolph flew to Dallas. They were going to meet John Antioco, the CEO of Blockbuster. The pitch was simple: buy Netflix for $50 million. Return, Netflix would run Blockbuster's online presence. Blockbuster would bring the brand, the stores, and the customers. Netflix would bring the technology and the subscription model. Together, they could own the future of entertainment. Antioco heads them out. And then, according to multiple accounts of the meeting, he laughed. He told them Netflix was a niche business. He said the internet was a toy, not a real retail channel. He said Blockbuster's customers wanted the in-store experience. Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph flew back to California with nothing. Blockbuster passed on the deal. They said no to $50 million. I want you to really think about this. Netflix was giving everything to Blockbuster: the brand, the subscribers, the technology for $50 million, but he rejects it. Here's what most people don't know about why Blockbuster really said no. It wasn't arrogance alone, it was money. Specifically $8 million per year. That's how much Blockbuster made from late fees alone. Every time a customer forgot to return a tape, Blockbuster charged them. Every time someone kept a movie an extra day, Blockbuster charged them $800 million in pure high margin revenue just from punishing their customers for forgetting. When Blockbuster did eventually try to compete with Netflix in 2004, they launched Blockbuster Online. No late fees, DVD delivery, a genuine competitor to Netflix. And here's the part that will shock you. By 2005, Blockbuster Online was actually beating Netflix on price and selection. Netflix was genuinely worried. But then Blockbuster's own board of directors stepped in. They forced the company to bring back late fees. Because Blockbuster Online was eating into store revenue, the board chooses $800 million today over survival tomorrow. Netflix breathed a sigh of relief and accelerated. This is the part that makes me angry every time. Blockbuster knew their customers hated late fees. They had the research and they had the data. Yet they chose short-term money over long-term business, and that choice cost them everything. But here's what nobody tells you about the Blockbuster story. They actually tried to come back. In 2007, the same year Netflix launched streaming, Blockbuster had a new CEO. His name was Jim Keyes, and he said something that should have made every investor run. He said, "I don't see Netflix as a threat. I don't think they have a sustainable business model." This was 2007. Netflix had already 7 million subscribers, but Keys wasn't finished. Blockbuster had one last weapon. They had 47 million customer addresses, 47 million people who had walked into a Blockbuster store at least once, 47 million potential streaming customers sitting in a database unused. While Netflix was fighting for every single subscriber one by one, Blockbuster had 47 million warm leads doing nothing. That's not bad luck. That's not Netflix being smarter. That is the most painful business mistake I have ever researched. You had the customers, you had the brand, you had the data, and you still lost because the people in charge couldn't let go of the past. And when I found this stat, 47 million addresses just sitting there, I genuinely had to stop and take a breath because this wasn't a small company that didn't have resources. This was a giant that had everything and chose nothing. Between 2005 and 2010, Blockbuster's decline was almost vertical. Netflix added streaming in 2007. No more waiting for DVDs, instant movies on demand. Blockbuster had no answer. Their debt was spiraling, their stores were emptying. In 2007, Blockbuster had 8,000 locations. By 2009, 3,000. In 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy, owing $9,000 million in debt. Dish Network bought the brand for $320 million. Remember, Blockbuster was worth of $8.4 billion just 6 years earlier. Dish tried to keep some stores open, one by one they closed. By 2019, every Blockbuster store in America had shut down, except one. In Bend, Oregon, a single Blockbuster store refused to close. It's still open today. People travel from across the world to visit it, to take a photo, to feel something. The last survivor of an empire that once had 9,000 stores. The store that killed an empire became a museum to its own failure. That's actually kind of poetic. And it all started with one laugh in a Dallas boardroom. So what actually killed Blockbuster? Not Netflix, not the internet, not streaming. Blockbuster was killed by three things. Number 1. They optimized for today instead of tomorrow. $800 million in late fees felt too good to give up. Even when the data showed customers hated it, even when a competitor was offering to solve the problem together. Number 2. Their board protected the existing business instead of building the future one. Blockbuster Online could have won. Their own leadership killed it. Number 3. They confused size with safety. 9,000 stores felt like an unbeatable moat. But in the digital age, size becomes a liability. Every store was a cost. Every employee was overhead. Netflix had no stores, no overhead, just a website and a database. Here's the lesson that applies to every business and every career. The thing that made you successful today is often the thing that will kill you tomorrow. Blockbuster's late fees built their empire, and Blockbuster's late fees destroyed it. The $50 million they saved by saying no to Netflix cost them $8.4 billion. The lesson is don't comfort with what working today, always build for tomorrow. Blockbuster had every advantage, the brand, the money, the customers and the infrastructure, and they still lost because they were too comfortable to change. Now I want to hear from you. A company sitting on a gold mine, is there a company today making the same mistake Blockbuster made, too afraid to disrupt themselves? Drop your answers in the comments. I read every single one. Stories like this are what you hear for. Subscribe to Empire Files. Every week, one business story. Real money, real lessons, no fluff. Next video, we are going inside the rise and fall of Nokia. See you there.